we would straight up invite the session chair, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome Sudin Baraokar, the AI and Digital Transformation Advisor, ex-SVI, Barclays, IBM, GE, former head of innovation at SVI. Sudin, very good to be greeting some of my favorite people on the stage. Thank you very, very much. We are assured we are in safe hands. Your accomplished trialogue participants are invited cordially on the stage as well. Please welcome Shyam Bihari Singh, GM Bihar State Electronics Development Corporation, BELTRON, DIT Government of Bihar, and former DDG NIC. Shri Singh, thank you very, very much for walking the talk, walking up the stage. Please welcome Sharad Agarwal, the CEO at Sify Infinit Spaces. Sharad, we are delighted to be welcoming you as well. And with that, at the 5th edition of the Data Center and Cloud Innovation Summit, we hand it over to you, Sudin.
Thanks. So let me set some context out here, especially in terms of the data center, the cloud, and the mission-critical nature of both these very important components. Sometime back in 2017, as head of innovation at State Bank of India, the largest lender in the country and top global bank, I benchmarked the core banking systems at 24,000 transactions per second, about 1.5 billion transactions a day. And today we are serving more than 500 million customers and more than 700 million accounts. This is the most advanced core banking system in the world, developed in India, made in India by Indian technologists. So now everything has become mission critical. All industries have become mission critical, right? It's banking, manufacturing, services, energy, everything has become mission critical. So the questions to Sharad and Shyam is that, how are you, what are you focusing on right now? There is the advent of more complex workloads, the more emerging tech workloads. At the same time, you have to run the organization. At the same time, you have to transform the organization. So how are you coping up from a data center level as well as from a mission critical application level? Shyam, you can go ahead.
Good morning to all of you. Thanks to the chair. Actually, I was an IC DDG. For 30 years, I worked as an IC. And then post-retirement, I've been joined as a GM BELTRON. Actually, I have seen a lot of development happening in the, the topic today is rethinking digitalization. Now all states e-governance activity, we had started NEGP program in the government of India. All states adopted it on mission critical applications. But then now we have a lot of data for last 30 years. All states have been proactively working on the governance activity. So we are now moving in the next generation level kind of data, the data cleaning. So we have provided service for 30 years. We got the data. And now we are trying to build trust among the public, data cleaning. So creating the blockchain so that, the data becomes immutable. No data can get tempered. So we simply just barcoded thing. You download the data and reliable data you can get. So we create trust among the consumers, among the people. So we have been just working a blockchain. And second is now all states, I think probably one of the flagship project for all states is is a social register. So we are creating family ID. And we have been last 30 years, whatever governance activity, benefit, DBT has been transferred. We are trying to analyze and clean data that how that families are getting benefited, how much benefit we are given. With that note, now we have to set up a data become now a very important aspect for all of us. We have a lot of data, so we are trying to create data lake. So data center today topic is quite important. How to leverage data center. Now the states, because many of people came from the corporate world, but we are from government side. Generally, we have a policy that IT department of the states are nodal agency. They set backbone infrastructure like data center and network also. The connectivity up to the panchayat level. We have gone to the back level, planning up to the next level, panchayat, where the government officers deliver the service. So we have been trying to create both the thing, public and apply, and the backend, the connectivity SWAN, we call it all state SWAN. So the data center and SWAN become combination of it, and we are trying to work out in a manner that, like we can provide optimum service. But the challenge is, like corporate world, like the topic is data center with the co-location, whereas actually the government, one department, for IT departments, we have set a data center like SDC, like Meghraj in the government of India level. So the one roof, all applications are getting hosted. So we have challenged to give the performance to the level. So we have made a lot of investment in Bihar, and similarly like NIC Delhi. So the challenge is like today, any investment made on setting up infrastructure, IT and non-IT, the problem is that non-IT, racks now that the cooling system previously installed, we made a lot of investment on the cooling system, and now that things are AI-driven, so the rack cooling, liquid cooling, so that the challenge for the government is now how to go about and from the whatever investment made, try to protect that, at the same time upgrade our cooling system and become like green IT data centers. So this is one challenge. And then second challenge is like, once we set up like, Bihar, we set up data center, it's like, it's a Red Hat platform, RHOSP. Now, VMware keep on approaching, now that kind of vendor locking happens. Now, once we get logged into the, then vendor, so whatever platform we purchase, like, EMS or something, so actually that challenge is that how to go for non-IT, improving also at the same time, locking doesn't happen. So, and your cost also gets protected. So this is a big challenge for all the states.
Yeah, moving on to...
So in the context of what Sir said,
Sharad, yeah.
I think it's important to note one fact that the data, as he described, is not just in metropolitan cities like Mumbai, Chennai. It's also a lot of data in the regions, in the tier 2, tier 3 cities. There is a lot to be happening there. Second part, what he mentioned as a challenge also, that there is an infrastructure as part of the state data center policies or a statewide area network that were established, but it needs to be scaled. It needs to go to a level where it can really start solving for new age problems. In the new world where we are creating tons of data, which is, as you were saying, that the 20,000 transactions per second, probably that was an old data, it might have changed to 2 million transactions certain seconds or minutes by now.
Yep.
Now, if that kind of workloads are happening, that kind of transactions are happening, there may be similar kind of level of details happening in the government, in the state level as well. More and more policy initiatives, more and more new welfare schemes being launched, more and more people getting included in those schemes with the Aadhaar card and all the direct benefit transfer. I'm sure there is a lot of data being created. And this data needs to be converted into knowledge, and that will probably make the policy decisions. And then that policy decision based on the behavior also need to take intelligence creation also, so that it could be predictive policy making as well. Now, all this requires the data centers to be closer to Patna, Lucknow, Cochin, Chandigarh, in Bhubaneswar, in Bhopal. What I see as a challenge for us as a data center service provider, as a technology service provider, how do we go closer to these cities? How do we go and build our infrastructure? How do we build our scalable, future-ready infrastructure so that the cooling challenges that they are having right now in their traditional data center, it's not there. I am going and investing and then taking care of that. So the way I look at it is, to solve these kind of problems, the way we are looking into the future is come up with those edge data center strategies where we are going and building these 2, 4, 6, 10 megawatt data centers in every single city. Incidentally, right now, my chairman is in Lucknow and likely to announce a data center in Lucknow right now, in probably in next few minutes, as he will be taking the stage there. And we are very close to doing that in Chandigarh, Patna, and elsewhere also.
And
most probably we will protect government's capex And we will probably solve those problems in Patna as
And
well.
can you share from an industry perspective how many, Sharad, for you, how many such data centers are being built in the country so far, right now?
The edge.
How many are being planned to build? All, I mean, you can take data centers, mini data centers, computer equipment rooms, everything together.
So as an industry,
Yeah.
end of this year, the industry will have close to 1.3 gigawatt of data center capacity across India. Out of that, half of the capacity is in this region, in Mumbai metropolitan region. And when you ask future questions, probably I will answer why it should not be that way, right? But that's the way it is right now. And this industry is building close to half a gigawatt of capacity every year, or likely to build that much capacity every year next 3-4 years. So we will be 3 times the capacity we are right now as an industry very soon, in no more than 5 years. And at the same time, we need to make sure that we are not just like every growth is happening in the metropolitan. This growth cannot be contained in the metropolitan area. It has to go to tier 2, tier 3 cities, and therefore it's important that we go there and build these smaller capacities to take care of the loads and requirements in the smaller cities also.
Yeah.
So
Fantastic.
there's more to will be happening. Yeah.
So Shyam, coming to the point of, yes, the data centers are being built across states, across even tier 2 towns. But my question is about how do we integrate this with all the digital infrastructure that is being created by the central government? We have a whole lot of digital infrastructure in terms of the in terms of JAM, in terms of the Aadhaar card, in terms of the GST, in terms of many other digital initiatives. So, from your view, there is central digital infrastructure, there is state digital infrastructure, there could be even other public-private kind of partnerships on this digital infrastructure. So how do you integrate all this with the data center infrastructure and the cloud infrastructure?
I'll take on from first, take on Sharad ji. Actually, I was SIO Bihar. I was DDG like Uttar Pradesh. I was in Lucknow. And it's one of my very dream state where a lot of e-governance activity I did and a lot of awards we have got, and Prime Minister Award and a lot of awards we have done by doing delivery of service to the public. And if Sify is setting a data center, I'll be very happy. The first concept of edge computing was done by NIC. Meghraj was actually the central level, that Delhi, Shastri Park, we have set up data center. Then all state, 37 states, union territories of the country, we have mini cloud. So that mini cloud now the edge computing kind of thing. But somehow the other NIC security threats kind of prevalent security threats, they have stopping now. Slowly they are closing all the mini clouds of the state data center. So now that it's an opportunity for all like Sify like organizations to grab in and come as a set up a edge computing. So they get chance to invest into the state. And I think probably all states are now set up their own data center and like edge kind of thing with 6 megawatt, up to 6 megawatt, I think we are calling as a edge computing. So any data coming from the state, that generally is not required to coming to Meghraj and national NDC. So locally you process the data, no point wasting energy and compute power and your bandwidth, because now bandwidth is very costly. So they say now with this chance, now edge computing become very popular now. I think all states will be going for it, and it's a chance for all of us. Only thing that what investment made, again I reiterate that you have to try to protect. Now actually as a integration is as concerned, now the system, like system delivery system in all state, e-governance activity, like Aadhaar, DBT we are doing. So DBT now API driven. So we almost go interact with the bank, verify that bank name, then you go to the Aadhaar, we call it as a Aadhaar authentication servers. So go to Aadhaar, check his Aadhaar number, validate his name, demo auth, biometric auth, because we want to save money, any DBT happening, so we have to authenticate that he is a genuine beneficiary or not. And every time you use a premium keeps on referring that, we save a lot of money, all DBT schemes. Many ghost beneficiary weeded out, ration card, a lot of saving happened, even gas connection, a lot of saving happened, the ghost thing eliminated. So it's a integration now, now almost common, and now the development of software using the data center, we have been API driven. So we say we got API. He said now then we connecting with this thing and open API concept. Now the policy has come by the government of India, and all states we are adopting that kind of same policy that nobody can restrict his data for, like initially was silos. People used to work for their own department, like agriculture department, giving subsidy to their farmers. Now they're not sharing the data. The land records now, the land record. So we're trying to integrate the land record, registries, agriculture farming system. So that concept now slowly evolving quite well. And DBT is like challenge. Aadhaar actually is a successful example. Is like Aadhaar is coming the picture, so that kind of like integration is happening. And it's a lot of opportunity for all of us. Like social, new generation, like I was mentioning that, social register. We are creating family ID. We are going Parvar, Pachan Pat. All states are working. So huge data. Last 30 years, e-governance activity, huge crores of data. We are trying to make data lake and analyze that, how many beneficiary got, and we're creating golden record. So now that is a new concept. All states are working, and somebody referred, that Ladli Bahna. All elections now, elections are being won on the data. So how service you are providing, governance service you are providing, and you get popular among that. And visibility of the government happens only through data center. And it's nobody can deny that any investment is worth it. We take a lot of state proposal, financial proposal to the state, and nobody, finance department never restrict on investment or SWAN network, and as well as your data center. Any 100 crore plan, so if anything happens, that without any much of argument or something, it gets approved. So any investments by the government is now, data center investment is really going in a very nice manner, and there is a scope, opportunity for all of us to join together, like partner as a state, we can partnership together, and we can build country, it's Viksit Bharat. Like this only thing, Viksit Bharat is a backbone, data science is a backbone for all of us, reaching out to the public and among the public.
Fantastic, Shyam. Thank you for highlighting all the great digital initiatives. So coming to Sharad, ESG is now not only a buzzword, it's become the Bible for a lot of things. And I was just reading the news in the US, they are now reverting back to nuclear power. They're using nuclear power to power up all the data centers. I mean, that bigger demand is there. I don't know about the roadmap in India, but how are you addressing this huge concern over the amount of consumption? How can it be optimized? How can the energy be saved? How can it be, are there newer technologies in terms of cooling that you could apply? So, what is the future roadmap when you address these ESG challenges? Also, when you go to tier 2 or maybe tier 3 towns, sometimes there could be limited infrastructure or infrastructure being built, but it may take some time. They also, you have to also train the workforce. There are a lot of jobs that will have to be, going into the data center. So how do you address these ESG challenges, some of the newer technologies that you plan to employ, as well as how do you get increase the technical vitality of the workforce so that it can work in these data centers?
Yeah, I think quite a few topics, right? So let's first quantify the problem statement here. So Mumbai's peak demand is 4.5 gigawatt approximately. That is for the Mumbai metropolitan region. That's the Mumbai metropolitan region that is inclusive of the surrounding districts. Typically consumes around 4.5 gigawatt at peak demand. And when I said that there will be a 50% of data center capacity housed in this region, very soon, out of that 4.5 gigawatt, additional 1 gigawatt may be consumed just by the data centers, right? Now, if you are concentrating that kind of an energy consumption at one place, that's one challenge, correct? Obviously, it's being concentrated here. Obviously, it is being concentrated here, but it is probably also moving the energy consumption from many other places to one place. The second aspect here is that when these amount of energy is being created or being consumed, how does it translate into, how does it convert? It converts into heat. That means the cooling aspects. what kind of infrastructure is being used to process this energy, and what kind of infrastructure, the infrastructure that is consuming, how is that being manufactured in the back? So the diesel generator sets, the transformers, the electrical panels, all of them, that the huge ecosystem that at many different point of time is leaving the carbon footprint behind. Correct? Now, when we talk about the ESG, what we have to make sure is that all these aspects are taken care of. One, when the energy is being consumed, whatever energy is being consumed, it's green. Whatever energy is being used to cool down, it's also green. It's using less and less water and using many different aspects or many different other technologies. Third, the manufacturing that is happening of the generators or those equipments, to what extent they are using the green stuff there. When we are constructing the buildings, to what extent we are using the green cement, green steel, and all that. We have a long way to go to cover all this aspect.
And I mean, this energy inflation is just going to keep increasing, right? The energy costs are just going to keep increasing all over the world. Yeah.
Yeah, cost is one factor. Cost is one factor. Right now, we are talking about not as a cost, but the environmental as a cost. Correct? Whenever we talk about ESG, is the environment as a cost, not the dollar or a rupee as a cost. And you are right. Even that part continuously keep increasing, and you got the limited resources. So we got a long way to go. We got a very, very long way to go, and the whole ecosystem is starting to make an effort towards that. And the lowest hanging fruit right now in our system is the renewable energy, because we got immense scope for solar power. We got immense scope for wind. Hydel we stopped considering as green because of the impact it leaves behind on the, let's say, Himalayas or elsewhere. So we don't consider Hydel as much as a green right now, but at least the wind and solar, it's an immense amount of potential that the country has on that.
And can you share, compared to global benchmarks, where are we on this level of energy optimization or ESG kind of index?
We have, I do not have any index on my top of my head right now.
Just benchmarks, yeah.
I really don't have any benchmark on my head. My colleague is there. Probably in the next one, he will probably answer that question. But we have a long way to go. On the solar, we are slightly ahead of the rest of the world. Where we are behind, as you talked about the nuclear power, there is a lot of confidence that we need to gain as a policy, as a society, as overall between us, that can we go ahead and put a small modular reactor in the backyard of my data center that will take only 80 square meter for space, but will create 60 megawatt of capacity, and not be worried about that.
So in the last budget, I think there was mention about these modular nuclear reactors. I don't know what was the use case intended, but the government did decide that
yes, I think government
we must have these multi-options, yeah.
That is for, I think, BSR project.
Is that for even that also includes, that will also probably have data centers?
It's the big use case.
Okay, okay.
Big use case, yes.
Okay,
but there is lot research need to be done.
Okay.
That research, what was assigned in the budget was the BSR project,
Yeah.
Bharat small reactor, that is being run by the Atomic Energy Commission. And I think Bhava Atomic Research Center is leading on that. But that part has not modularized or to the extent that is what is available across the world as a small modular reactor. So some ways to go there. But the most important piece to understand is that we as an industry, we are very, very much committed. I'm not just talking about me, I can represent my industry to say that as we increase the digital consumption, as you were saying in your opening remark, every enterprise and a technology organization, every enterprise is digital, irrespective of which vertical they are, whether they are manufacturing, pharmaceutical, banking and financial, or retail or commerce. Every organization is a tech organization now.
Right.
That means the world is really being driven by tech. Correct. And the tech will consume a lot of energy. Tech will consume a lot of resources to optimize our life, to improve our life and the overall life system. And that can't be done without making sure that we are saving on the resources as much possible. And we are committed towards that. And there is a long way to go. We have just started. Probably we'll move very quickly so that by 2030, that a lot of organization putting as a goal, we get to almost like a net zero, but long way to go.
So a lot of
policy support will also be.
and a lot of planning and rewiring needs to be done to get there.
The step one, renewable energy, that we are making large investments.
Sure.
We have already signed the power purchase agreements of 231 megawatt, and we are continuously signing more and more.
Fantastic. So we've got about 5-6 minutes left. So this will be the last question, and then we can open the floor up for questions from the audience and participants. So this question is to Shyam. In terms of the government approach, public sector approach, or public-private partnerships, what is the future in terms of, or what is the roadmap plan for on-prem computer equipment room, data centers, multi-cloud, hybrid cloud, public cloud, private cloud, right? It's all out there, right? And you just can't have one option. You have to keep a balance of all the options. I remember years back when I was head of innovation at Barclays, and that was way back in 2011. We did an innovation on the cloud bursting. So what we did is that on a private cloud, from our data center and computer equipment room, we use this cloud bursting solution, and we could cloud burst onto public cloud, so that when we had the demand for numerous upsurge in workloads, we could just rebalance all those workloads. So this innovation was done about more than 10, 11 years back. But overall, Shyam, what would you feel is the right approach or the balanced approach to deal with this, especially when we talk about data security, sovereignty, local rules, regulations, right? Data localization. So how do you all plan for this, or what are the thinking around this?
Generally, in government department, captive data center, generally we prefer as a primary when we host any application. So we should be under our control mostly. We have confidence level that we have been hosting, because many times happens, that now there is a Bihar, I'm saying, then NDC must be thousands of applications. And Bihar, we got 300 applications hosted by different department. So the primary thing is, like when any scheme gets launched by Chief Minister, so generally get very little time, like maybe 6 months or something to deliver something and go live. So, I mean, we got like a policy that, before going live, putting on the production, we have to go to the security auditor by certain certified auditors. But then SI, generally we engage SI for software development. Generally, they don't follow that kind of protocol. And then last moment it happens, we get a lot of pressure that please host. And Uttarakhand, like example, even AIMS Delhi got hacked or something, your services are ransomware attack. So always we are under some big, always in we have got problem area that, can happen. Because user department, generally, IT department is we host. So we have a lot of responsibility. Like NIC data center, we remain the back end. We don't get much of visibility outside. But if you see that protecting your data is a big challenge for all of us. We work day and night, every time I scan all your via server or something, data scanning, everything keeps on happening, that no hackers attacks onto unauthorized users run coming into this. And user department always shift in relax mode that, we have hosted at a data center, state government. So IT department of Bihar or NIC, NDC will take care of my security of the data. So it's a big challenge for all of us. So generally we prefer that, hosting happens so we can implement some policy on our captive data center. But we are in DR, we have identified, Bihar example I'm giving, that we have 4 category of applications like treasury, some application actually maximum RPO time. So we have classified some kind of platinum application where we are putting a DR. Mostly today we are using Azure. And again, we are just applying to float a tender for, because the term is getting completed in 5 years. So now within 15 days, we'll float tender for hiring a DR. So DR in other seismic zone, that will be all hypervisors, we are going for it. Very soon will be happening. So we prefer that, our captive data center for all primary application hosting, then NDR as per RBI guidelines, the financial data like treasury data or GST data, we want to keep into near DR. So that is a good example. We are trying to design NDR, that our NDR has become old. So new things are happening. It was based on the edge computing, what you are saying. So we have been, so NDR and DR, NDR and primary data center will be by state government control. And DR, we are putting into outside in private cloud or something, and very soon we are coming to tender. So there is, I think, probably this kind of mix of combination. We can, government is planning to go for the entire hosting applications.
Sharad, any last few thoughts, and then we can open up the floor for questions.
Yeah, the only thought I would like to convey is as the in the new AI generation and in AI world, the data is scaling, and data is scaling exponentially. One of the banks, I was having a conversation, and they were mentioning that the number of transactions are doubling every year. And then probably you coming from the same industry, you would be knowing that. And all of this data that is being created has to be converted into knowledge and has to be used for the prediction. That means it to be converted into intelligence. And as you were talking, relating it with the data localization and the data protection, the way I look into is that we have, as an industry, responsibility to keep this data, keep this knowledge with us so that somebody does not take that knowledge away, convert it into intelligence, and comes back and sell it to us. So I would say that the whole core of the policy decisions and all the planning, and we as an industry, as an innovation for the future, is really about making sure our data, our knowledge, our intelligence, and our gain, not like you are selling the cotton and bringing back the cloth. It's really about keeping the data and maintaining the intel within the system.
Fantastic.
That's how I would say that.
Yeah, build in India, invent in India, innovate in India. That's great. Fantastic. So I'll open up the floor for questions. Yeah. We have one here.
Thought pathway, you say data should create to prediction and intelligence. Now, why can't we follow this pathway for social engineering? If ESG and green energy is on the cards, why not healthcare? For example, what the thought strikes me, India has already become the diabetes capital of the world. And there is one reason, if data is available, maybe it's already available with the insurance companies, etc. How could the industry reject to this, maybe from government of Bihar, from Sify, or from the banking industry? I do not know how this question applies. Thank you.
I think what you're saying is the topic core is innovation, right? That there is enough amount of data available within the country. If we have become a diabetic capital, or 1 billion people, 1.5 billion people, so much of healthcare data, what is being done to use that data to convert into a diagnostic system, intelligence system, so that the healthcare improves, the diagnosis improves, and ultimately the healthcare improves. I'm not an authority. I do not have the direct visibility to what is happening in the market, but I have a sense of it, that there is enough amount of private equity interest within India, India-based private equity invest, India-based venture capital interest in this kind of innovation. And there are at least a dozen companies that I would know that one of the Indian private equity bank have invested, where using the data, using the data, our engineers, our innovators are able to do some level of prediction on something. So that's happening. That's innovation. I think that's an innovation question, that how do you drive innovation in the country? How do you enable that innovation? how do you convert India into an innovation capital? Right now, the way we see is innovation, majority of innovation is happening in the United States. How do you bring those innovation in the country and promote that? Our new generation is very keen to do that innovation within the country. The brain drain probably is reversing there, and I think that should be solved. That should be taking us somewhere. Let's keep watching it for next 4 or 5 years. I'm very positive about that.
No, I think this very, very good question, and this entire data as a service, AI inferencing as a service. In fact, I'm working on some of the models across healthcare, but it is more to do with the healthcare claim insurance, right? So I think this data as a service is going to happen because now with the advent of accelerated computing, everything is going to get accelerated. Everything is going to be much faster, processed much faster. We have got data pipelines to further accelerate even the data sourcing and automate it. So I think this merger of the data science, AI, machine learning is going to come as a data as a service or maybe AI inferencing as a service. And that could be as Sharad just mentioned, that could be a very good opportunity how to leverage it. I mean, I can tell you that in the US, they do a very good job at this. Europe, they do a terrible job at this. So, we'll have to take because of the data privacy laws, so we'll have to also figure out how to balance that and make sure that this data can be used for the right purposes and to serve society with the greatest of innovations and transformations that can take place.
Only thing is this healthcare sector was quite weak in our country. We have the patient data, hospitals are not computerized, the government hospital particularly, where we capture data. Now with the invent of Ayushman Bharat, I think now with a lot of awareness had happened. All states are heavily investing into the hospital management system, and all your PHC, primary healthcare centers now collecting data. So first thing that data part, patient data has to be created. So now only for last 3-4 years, all states are going, but there is a issue like power, something, primary centers, like, doctor's presence is not there. So success is like slightly problem. So, but I say now is right area, we can think of like analyzing patient, like diabetic management system. So everything, doctors are not there. You find any city like, tier 2 city, like there are 2-3 doctors who knows the, diabetic, specialist. So, and people cannot reach, how to diagnose their case and what kind of treatment they have to take. So, there's a telemedicine system with that data, so we can have expert doctor coming into this. So, telemedicine and this area now is a domain. All states are going for it, and probably very soon, maybe slightly tough job, collecting data. Because doctors generally, they don't prefer going to PSC, they take the job, government job. I have seen all national level, Uttar Pradesh or maybe Bihar on Ranchi, Jharkhand, all the states we have been posted. I've seen that doctors take the job, government job, but then don't go to the PHC, primary health care centers. So somehow there like biometric thing we have implemented, Aadhaar-based biometric, so that doctor at least they visit. Otherwise they take the salary, they don't reach. So this is a big challenge for health sector. This is a big challenge, but government is trying to address this area.
So time's up. Thank you, Shyam. Thank you, Sharad.